From the worlds of monster trucks, Pennsylvania, a lot of ardent motorsports fans on hand. They're in for a treat today. We have side-by-side mud racing. Now, keep in mind, although they're going through the mud side-by-side, these guys are racing the clock.
Well, what we're going to be looking at is a Class 6 with the unlimited class. They're allowed to run superchargers, nitrous oxide, laughing gas. They run the paddle tires, but the unique situation here is the 180-foot pit. This allows these behemoth horsepower-making vehicles to go quick, go hard, and use all that horsepower.
And look at the diverse design. Each guy seems to have an idea of what's going to make his vehicle go fast. Sean Kravetsky with a 40 paces later. I love the names of some of these. Brian Mayetta in Foolish Pleasure.
Now remember, both of them are working into the lanes. Now the four-wheel drive club with the Pine Creek Four-Wheelers Club, they are the people that are coming to donate their time for this sport. The optical illusion is of a side-by-side race. Remember, you're only running the clock. I'm impressed.
Well, Mayetta will take the quicker of the two times at 3.287. So that becomes the time to beat. That is the standard bearer this afternoon. 3.287 for Foolish Pleasure. And there is the time for Sean, 3.559. Army, we look again.
Well, both vehicles drawing #1 in their respective lane. Know they got a good, smooth path to go down.
Well, we take a look at our second matchup. Dean Crotier in Fireball, and he will be going up against Stephen Abbott in Total Obsession.
You know, a minute ago you mentioned the versatility of the body styles in this sport. The Fireball on the right side, Total Obsession left side, full body vehicle on the left side, a fiberglass replica of a Jeep body on the right side. Neither one of these vehicles supercharged, but they both run the nitrous oxide or laughing gas. They will flat make some horsepower for you, Gary.
Good run there for Abbott. And his time is 3.325. That would be second quick, but still not fast enough to take that #1 position. And there is the 4.949 for Dean Crotier.
What's interesting, we were talking about the scoop tires. Watch the vehicle on the left. He gets up and gets on top of the mud, so to speak. The scoopers are on the rear. They run a 45-degree angle tire on the front to help pull the vehicles straight. Going straight is the biggest problem in this sport, Gary.
Randy Gehring, bad to the bone, a unique vehicle. He has the paddle tires in the back, the cut on the front, and Andrew Heister in the Mighty Mudder. Now, you'll watch some of these guys go down through there and look like a bobsled banging off the sides of the bobsled run.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's kind of dangerous because if you look, the mud is built at about a 45-degree angle. If you were to hit it just like that,
he's in trouble.
Whoa!
He's headed right for the stage, does make contact. There are some junk cars down there acting as a buffer. He was just a love tap, didn't hit him too hard, but he was totally out of shape coming out of the mud.
Look at his visor. Look how muddy he is. That's exactly what I was talking about. They cut the trackers about a 45-degree angle on the side. When he got up on the side, he was coming out of there. There wasn't anything he could do about it. He's to the left side of the track now. He comes across.
It kicks him over, you're right. Right there it is, okay. Army.
Now he's in trouble.
And look at his visor. He can't see where he's going. He climbs on the brakes, just does hit those junk cars down there. Army, I think as we look at bad to the bone with a 4.254, you have a chance to talk to Andy.
We're staying with a guy that took a wild ride. What happened on the other end of the track, Andy? Look, that little squirrel coming out. Nice bit at the start. In the middle, it's got a big puddle of water. Just a little bit too sloppy. On the way out, the water come up. I couldn't see nothing. I caught a glimpse of us going over towards the stadium there, and I got enough time to lock it up. Hang in there. You're looking good. Thank you.
And as Andy walks back to his vehicle, we take a look at Mark House out of Locust Grove, Virginia in pure hell. And he'll be going up against Mike Camella. But this was earlier. Now watch what happens when he concludes his run. Climbs on the binder, slides to a stop, but interestingly enough, he flips the visor and says, I'm safe.
That's right. He made the call. That was earlier. Now we're going for the real thing. They're trying to get the quick time. The time to beat is a 3.28 with a 7. Far lane comes out good. They got a smooth track to go, and he made a good straight run.
Excellent ride for Mark. He does it. 3.045, and once again he says safe. I'm not sure what that message is.
I like it. You know, I think it's kind of neat.
I've never seen a hand signal like that in motorsports.
Maybe he's indicating to his crew everything's okay. A 4.34 recorded out of the left lane, Gary.
That was Mike Camella, but certainly Look at him skim across the mud. An excellent ride for Mark House. A good straight run right across the mud, and here he is with Army.
Mark House, your current leader with a 3:04. What's it like out there today?
It's soupy, but it's quick pit today. I hope that'll hold.
What do you mean by soupy now? Is it soft or hard, or what's the deal?
It's stirred up good. It's a good, fast-running pit today.
3:04. Let's see if you can hang on and win it with that.
Yes, sir. I hope to. Thank you.
I love this motorsports vernacular. It's a soupy but fast pit.
You know, it's hard to believe, but the tracks are actually different. Just like in the sprint cars you drive, there's different tracks you set up different ways. Mud is different wherever you go in this country, Gary, and these guys know it and they tune for it. Look how smooth the tracks are already. The mud is settled back as we get, you know, what went berserk going against
Nancy's nightmare, and berserk's going to take this one. That is Joe Wiedenhofer against Greg Noonan. Wiedenhofer with the fast time this run, but not nearly fast enough to move into contention at 3.934.
They're going to have to get out in the low threes to be a plater today. Another interesting part of the sport is watching these people get shut down on the big end of the track. They're shutting down in a grass area. You know, water and grass equals slick. And they're getting them smoothed out. But again, I want you to notice how smooth the track is. It immediately goes back to being flat, and that is an indication.
Watch the billiard shot, though, as Greg Noonan bounces off that 45-degree angled wall as the crowd looks on. Once again, it is a very warm day here in north central Pennsylvania. Mark House with the quick one in pure hell at 3.045. Then it's Brian Mayetta and Stephen Abbott. Foolish Pleasure is second. Total Obsession is third, and right now Brian standing by with Army Armstrong.
Brian, you're setting number 2 in a real tough field of vehicles.
Well, it's been pretty hot the last 2 weekends with running and back in Connecticut here, but it's good competition.
How do you feel about it? Yeah, that's what it all comes down to. The best of the sport are here. You're setting number 2. You got to be feeling good.
Well, we're trying to hang right in there.
Good luck to you. Let's see if it'll hold.
Thank you.
Well, on a hot day in Pennsylvania, it's any port in a storm. Splash some water my way. We're coming right back. Stay with us. Competition continues here, and side-by-side mud racing. A good crowd on hand, and they are being treated to something relatively unique in motorsports. There's a look at Jeffrey Stitt in Totally Insane.
That's a fiberglass replica. Now, they say it's a Jeep, but it's a fiberglass replica of a Jeep running the supercharged engine for horsepower. You know, the people from Pennsylvania, they are familiar with some good motorsports they play in the mud with, aren't they, Gary?
And there is Wayne Cooley and Plum Crazy.
3:04, the time they're trying to beat.
Now, remember, they are racing the track. They are racing the time and not each other.
Neither driver getting the shot they wanted at all on that run, Gary. It's kind of interesting. You run a gear in the front and the rear of these vehicles. The front wheels are actually turning twice as fast as the rear wheels. The reason for that is to try to keep the vehicle tracking straight.
And notice that many of these drivers choose to use the cut tires on the front and the paddle tires, which are legal in this open class, on the rear.
Okay, they found out over the years, if you run paddles all the way around, you don't have any control of the vehicle on the top end of the track. They'll give up a little bit of ET just to be able to go straight.
Sean Bowser coming up next in whiteout out of Butler, Pennsylvania. Nice and clean right now, but not for long. And there is Gary Funk in Sweet Thunder from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania.
Thunder powered by Ford, whiteout, ready to make his shot closest to the camera. Both drivers go into the lane. Starter gets down behind the barrier to protect him. We got a good side-by-side race. Far lane almost got out of the pit, Gary.
Well, White Oak will take that one on a time of 4.437, but again, almost a second and a half slower than the quick time set so far. There's a 4.489.
One of the reasons could be that particular vehicle in the far lane weighs quite a bit more than the other one. So it's like in any kind of motorsport, the more weight you got to carry, the more horsepower it's going to rob you. It's going to slow you down. A 32 Ford fiberglass replica comes out now called the Rat Trap, Gary.
That's Robert Marciani from Wilmington, Delaware. And he will go up against a rather unique dragster type chassis. This is Dave Collins.
Collins is running the state-of-the-art and everything here. He's running a supercharger on this engine. It's outlawed in other forms of motorsport. The engine he has, as we're going to show you a run earlier about the horsepower this vehicle will make. It's making so much horsepower in the four-wheel drive category. Look what it does to the front end. It completely pulls it apart. He is literally fighting for his life, trying to see where he's going and get this vehicle shut out. And remember, sitting in the front, he's the first guy there. He was lucky right there, Gary Lee.
Well, Army, that's a case of just too much horsepower. The crew put the vehicle back together. He is ready now to go up against Rat Trap, and here you are. You saw the time to beat. Oh, look at Collins. He's in trouble again.
Still haven't solved that problem. The water barrier, now he's in the building.
He hit the water barrier, the Hydra barrier,
and
then
around.
clipped the edge of the stage, and you can see the movement there in the cockpit.
Camera right on top of the driver. He's trying to get out of that thing. I don't blame him.
That's an immediate response in any type of motorsports accident. You want out of that race car and away from it.
That's right. He's staying composed and everything. The track officials are there, but he just doesn't want to think. Get me out of here and let me collect my thoughts. The water barriers did their job. He still got into the building, but that could be a classic case of a vehicle making too much horsepower because the horsepower was collapsing the front end.
Once again, he had to be mindful of that run earlier when he had trouble.
Sure.
Now he is really going to be thinking about the run here. Let's take a look again.
The front end's collapsed. Yeah, he's just riding. He's sitting on the nose cone of a missile right now, and he doesn't know where that puppy's going.
He should have pulled the chute and climbed in the binders back about midstream.
No chute, no binders. This is mud racing, Gary.
We wanted to give you this shot. This is what our photographer, Kirk Hepburn, saw. Now, he maintains his post as the vehicle comes right at him, and there's the splash of the water. Oh, it's a lot safer up here in the press box.
He did it for the fans to give you an idea of what it's all about.
Now, once again, the driver is okay, Dave Collins, but he has had a tough time here. You can see the damage. That would be the right front.
It's about like an Indy car hitting the wall, wasn't it, Gary?
You know, Army, it's mindful of an early rear-engine Indy car back in the 60s. A ton of horsepower, but a very fragile race car. He was very lucky there not to be injured. The crew continues to work, and Army, you have made your way over to talk to Dave Collins.
Well, first of all, we're glad you're okay. We understand you're the new leader, but man, what a price to pay. What happened down there?
Well, same thing. Yesterday we had trouble with the steering. I was up all night this morning working on it. Got it straightened out, thought it was straightened out, and when I came out on the left side again, the thing let go again, and I had no control.
Okay, the steer, is it collapsing? Is it bending? Are you hitting the wall? What's causing the problems?
I think the rack, I haven't looked at it this time. I think the rack might have let go again. We have too light of a rack in it.
We're glad you're okay. I tell you, you scared a lot of us.
Thank you.
Well, Army, you mentioned that he took over the lead. The officials have disqualified him because he went out of bounds. So just as he took the lead, time-wise, the vehicle was disqualified. Now it's back to the race shop, and time to put that car back together.
Just
look at that
people,
time, though.
2:71, under 3 seconds. But the water barrier,
at 4.5.
if the water barriers had not been there, Gary, he would have been hurt. So the Yodak water barriers are doing what they're supposed to do.
We're going to see more and more of those
I hope so.
motorsports in the seasons to come. As we take a look at the next pairing, Dave Ray against Dale Small. Small in the Desperado 2 and Dave Ray in the Midnight Magic. A pickup truck versus the Jeep.
Concrete four-wheelers getting them into the lanes, and look at all the action. Here we go again.
Well, they popped the rubber off the right front of that pickup truck.
Hey, Gary, they keep banging a wall on the side of these things, and the walls are doing a lot of damage. The walls are getting them in trouble.
Yeah, but those walls are also keeping these vehicles from getting together in the mud, which may be the advantage may outweigh the disadvantage.
3904 for the Desperado, not a bad run. But again, you got the replay coming up. A good smooth track, a little out of shape, tags the wall. That collapsed the wheel right there. Now, when that happened, it just pulled him into the wall, didn't it, Gary? It didn't bounce him back at all. Time for a bead lock on that right front to me.
We watched David Ray get in trouble, but watch Dale Small. He's being tossed about the cockpit to the point he reaches up and grabs the front of the roll cage to hang on and hold his position in that mud racer. Let's go down now trackside and talk to David Ray.
David Ray, give me an assessment of these ramps on the side of these tracks. That looks awfully dangerous to me.
Yeah, it's real narrow, and we usually run a little bit wider. I don't know why they made it so narrow, but it is getting pretty treacherous. It's real loose out there. What happens if you catch that rail, it flips you right up in the air.
And now we take a look at Joseph Dorr in the Instigator, a Chevy C30 pickup, and Dan Jordan in the Carpetbagger 3, a 23 Alter T. And there's a good look at the backside of your starter. That is Harry Straley, once again the Pine Creek four-wheelers. The guys are the members of the host club here from Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania.
Whoa,
he's in trouble. Is he going to go over? Oh, that's as far as you can go without taking it all the way upside down.
Boy, he took a ride up the ramp, and Kirk Hepburn, our cameraman, stayed right with him again. We need to give that guy combat pay or something. He's all right, you can see, but something's going to have to be done. We're getting too many guys almost upside down.
I'd like to take Dan Jordan's blood pressure right now because that heart has to be pounding. He is still in the cockpit. You can see the damage there to the left front wheel assembly. Driver's okay, but watch again. Let's see when he gets in trouble.
When it starts up the wall right now, see, he has no control. The back is just pushing. The man is just lucky. That's all you can say.
Not like monster truck racing where you power out of something like that. You get off the throttle and try to get it straightened out. Comes very close to the Hydra barrier, almost clips the edge of the stage. He was very lucky there. Now, a head-on shot. Watch him get in trouble. Watch him climb what would be his right rail.
See, when the
totally out of control
when
right there.
the rear tire hooked on him, that was it. Showtime.
He almost ended up in the other lane. Boy, Joe Dorr had a real bird's eye view of that accident.
Some days in motorsports, you just have days like this, and this, we should have known it coming in.
Seems like some of the fastest runs have been disqualified because they've gone out of bounds. The carpetbagger at 3.132, but he's being towed to the sideline. The instigator's time, incidentally, was 5.008. We'll step aside right now and let him tow that vehicle back to the paddock area and come back with more after these messages. Days of summer. It's a hot, humid one here in north central Pennsylvania. We're at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Summer Nationals. And, of course, these Jamborees are more than just great racing action. To find out more about the Jamborees, write or call the Special Events Company. And one of the guys that has provided so much action this afternoon is standing by with Army Armstrong.
Dan, you go a 3-teen something, but the building doesn't move one bit when you take it, does it?
Oh, that building's quite in place.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
What caused it to look like you just came out like a launching pad off an aircraft carrier?
Well, there's a little hump on the wall down there, and under full power, I hit the wall and kind of launched the front end up in the air.
I think you found out one of the classy things that mud racers and sprint car drivers are finding out when you're flying through the air. The greatest set of brakes in the world don't work one bit, do they?
They sure don't.
But that never stops you from hammering those brakes as you're flipping or flying through the air. Class 6 Unlimited, once again, Mark House continues to lead. David Ray is now second, and Brian Mayetta now rounds out the top three. All right, the final two.
Got a big block Chevrolet coming out. Big Ali should be doing the driving. He'll be in a far lane. He's going against a nitrous-powered Ford vehicle, closest to 32 Ford.
Tony Pasilla in the 32 Ford Crown Victoria.
He punches the button. Boom!
Oh, he blew that one up.
When he hit the nitrous button.
Well, there's the time for Big Al.
And the driver's okay. We got a replay. Watch it. Tell when he hits the nitrous button right now. Boy, a pitcher doesn't lie, does he, Gary?
It's also worth 1,000 words and maybe $1,000 in damage. So Mark Howes hangs on to win in pure hell, and he is with Army Armstrong.
Mark, congratulations. You sat out there, you laid your cards on the table, but you had to sweat BBs because they were definitely coming after you today.
Yeah, it was hard. I was glad we held on to number one. My brother did a lot of changes in the car and made it run a lot better.
If you had to do anything different, would you make any changes at all, or just the right combination at the right time?
The right combination at the right time. Try and run your car to fit the track.
Congratulations. You did a super job this week.
Thank you.
And that will wrap it up for us here at Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Our congratulations to Mark Howes. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. Join us next week for Trucks and Tractor Power. Now stay tuned for news of an exciting new home video release from Diamond P Sports.